adjustment on that is that number that correlates
everything's
to
adjusted with these constants on this.
okay, which is very simple and
Right,
easy, yeah.
yeah.
And then the other thing is the adjustment of the beam into the sensor to be sure that it's striking it dead on.
Right, and we're going to do a sensor calibration too. So
I just like to recap to make sure that I understand exactly what
yeah,
we're
that's
doing.
that's a good synopsis of what we've done so far.
Okay.
Is to make sure that, and we've also done a visual inspection up here to make sure that everything is happy.
Yeah. So.
No, we're still on 89.
So it just must have been way off, Jerry, for a long time, right? Or gradually. I mean, like, this is an '08, didn't you say, Brad? Or what is it?
Oh, it's a 10.
2010.
Well, I can't believe it's 13 years old. Well, I can't believe it.
Seems like you met you up here the other day putting it in, right?
Right.
107.
That's a little high. If they get KV errors again
That's 104.
and poor image quality, I would probably look into getting this board.
Power supply, okay. And then run through the calibration again. When you
Right.
put the board in there.
Right. Also, it can be.
Now, I'm going to give you a quiz 2 weeks from now. And it's going to be written exam, Brad.
If your outlet's not well grounded, it can give you these symbols too, these symptoms too.
Okay. You know, another
So-
thing that I do sometimes, Jerry, when I'm checking those grounds, is I'll do a continuity test between two ground pins, just to see if there's a ground wire or it's jumpered, to be sure that both outlets are.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. The continuity. Put it on continuity.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's great. You go back to DC voltage.
AC.
AC. Okay.
So that's basically machine calibration. It's pretty simple on the 4000. On the 1000s, we had to mess around with adjusting the KV meter. There was a potentiometer on the back of the meter that you would have to adjust to bring that.
So a little less complicated on the 4000, right?
Yeah, you had a rheostat on here that you would turn till it got to 89 and then read your meter to make sure it was set on 80.
Are there still any of those out there? 1000?
Mm-hmm.
Still servicing some of them?
They sold tens of thousands of them.
I'm sure they do. Wonder why they went out of business? Why did they stop making them?
It's a long story.
Really?
Yeah. This was probably one of the best machines that they sold. This
Well,
and
what are you selling now? If somebody wants a new one, what are you guys selling?
we haven't sold any, but we have an agreement with Gendex
Okay.
to sell their stuff.
So Gendex is no longer part of Dell Medical, right?
Well, no, it's what used to be AFP, whatever they're called this
Oh
week.
yeah, okay. Yeah. I was an AFP dealer for years. I think you were too, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I sold about 1 million Mini-Med 90s when they were all the same.
Yeah, I remember the last one I sold, and I remember throwing it in the dumpster too. So.
We try to do that every time we get it up.
I got 3 more out there I still got to get into the dumpster.
You still got 3 more that you look after? When I joined this new company, he said, we're not going to do that. We're not doing.
Yeah, I know. You gotta
Analog.
make that decision, yeah.
I said, okay.
I mean,
No,
we
doesn't hurt my feelings.
we're still delivering film.
Yeah.
But you know, some of the outfits, like we do Texas Heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
And down the Med Center, and they do it for research. And a lot of research facilities still use film, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But she's looking at upgrading to digital, so we're hoping we get that one.
All right, so that's been moved.
Good. I'm gonna weight that down and put it into that belt anymore.
I'm gonna cycle the power to get us back into the user mode. Okay.
So there's no exit to.
There is. You can push both buttons,
Oh,
and it'll
okay.
take you back. These two buttons.
But just
Let me
as
see.
easy to turn it off.
Which two buttons?
This is how you get in with a 2703 password, and you can get out the same way by pushing these two.
Okay.
So you got the 2703 password in there now too.
Mm-hmm.
Those two buttons, 2703, and then you go into the cal mode, KV cal mode.
So, let's see what we were looking at as far as images go. This is one of your test images.
What are we looking at here?
This is a data repository, and every image that's taken on the machine, the full data set of each image is saved in a file, the last 100.
So you're gonna look at some of the older ones to see where we were, or what we were getting?
Yeah. Oh, you pulled this up from, they pulled this up from their
Yeah.
practice management. Okay. That's why we're getting this, the save Twain message. So file, data repository, and these are the last images, the last 100 images that were taken.
Yeah, we're talking about these thin little, see the lines going down? They look like grid lines.
And you see them.
There you can see them. Are those white lines or black lines? Because there's space, so you have to determine which is the line and which is the space. Is the line white or black?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see them a little bit better now.
What are you doing, Derek, when you do that? You're just moving the graph, just
Yeah,
changing the
trying
density?
to see, improve the image. There's boosted settings under the image presets that allow you, that interpret the data set into a better image. The basic image that comes out of the machine looks like this.
So it's almost like a window and leveling. Similar.
It's sort of, but it's a reinterpolation of the data into a different,
I see. Okay.
you know.
Just sharpen the image somewhat.
Right.
Okay.
And this is spinal ghosting.
Uh-huh.
When the beam comes around the back side of the patient,
Yeah.
it goes through the base of the skull, and it has to pass through the cervical spine.
Uh-huh.
So this is a common,
That's
especially
what you see.
if the patient is slumped, it's going to be accentuated. It's going to be, and there's this equal vertical tool will minimize that
Mm-hmm.
and improve that.
And is that an automatic thing that happens?
It can be set to be automatic. In other words, you can set your histogram to a certain setting. They say to put this slider in the valley of the mountain
Mm-hmm.
and to put this slider at the peak of the mountain to get,
I see.
close to what your image should be.
Mhm.
So I don't know whether that's the peak or whether.
And when
That's
you
the-
set that way, that is the algorithm that's going to be applied to every image that comes up.
Yeah,
Is that
you
you're
can go.
saving
This
it?
is called user auto process,
Mhm.
and this is what it does to every image.
Okay.
So let's say we want these histogram settings and we want equal vertical. We're going to right click on user auto process and assign current image processing to button. and it'll give you, we don't need all 3 equal verticals. So I'm going to go back to let's see if we got rid of any of that. I don't think it'll let me edit it. Okay. Cancel this. When did they start having the problem?
About a week ago. Because that's when they called us.
These striations are normal when there's nothing in the field.
Okay.
That's-
So that's
that's-
a normal image.
But I'm thinking they're seeing the thin little lines. I think
Are you
it's-
talking about the ones that go across?
No, they're doing this right here.
Oh, I see them now.
That's what they're talking about?
Yes.
Those right there.
Yeah.
right there.
So I said they look like grid lines almost.
Are they all the way across the image?
Yes.
Let me see if I can see it on a.
They're also looking a little blurry too, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
They kind of blur the image.
Yeah.
And Panoramic said that's just a calibration issue, right?
Yeah, it just needs to be calibrated. That's what they said. To get rid of those lines, they
Could,
just
could the high KV be contributing to that, or just the out of calibration, the speed, a little combination of everything?
I think it's mostly the calibration.
Okay.
It's a single phase waveform,
Mhm.
and it's a scanning tomograph, but you rarely ever see any kind of pulsation from the beam, you know, and usually.
That's why you kind of referred to it as jitter, because it's almost like a stop-start or
Mm-hmm.
or something like
you'd
that.
see-
Yeah.
You'd see most of that looks like either a minus density vertical line or a plus density vertical line if it's getting stopped and then started again, or if it, you know, if the beam's cutting out during the exposure or something like that,
I
you
see.
get, you know, it's kind of on and off. You usually
Uh-huh.
don't get
I see.
these striations.
Especially something that follows through the entire way, right? Which that's why you tend to think it's just calibration.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go visit the purchasing manager when we get down here in Texas City. 'Cause she's kind of been on the edge of her chair over this whole thing. We wanna get the service contract again. What's the possibility of this company, National Imaging, buying my customer base?
You'd have to talk to Arlie about that, and see
Is
if,
he
you know.
interested in another acquisition, do you
Oh,
think?
he's always up for, you know, expanding his customer base and doing things like that. I'll tell him you're interested in doing that, and
Well, we got some very high-profile customers. You know, we do Founder Orthopedic Group. I just got into Texas Orthopedic Hospital and City of Houston, and
yeah, I think if I'll tell him that you're interested in doing that, and have him get in contact with
that'd be
you.
great.
It may either be him or David Martinson,
Okay.
and
Because I've been kind of talking to Southwest X-Ray in Dallas. They've been interested, and you know, Steve Merchant up there. I don't know if you.
we have technicians in Dallas. We have technicians in San Antonio. We're just opening up Colorado right now, so yeah, I'm sure that if that'd be something he might be interested in.
Well, I mean, certainly I'd do a non-compete, sign up with him, and work
Sure.
with him as long as he wanted to do it. Plus, be in sales for him too. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Mhm.
So it looks like our last cow was, I around this time in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And should it be an annual thing?
It should be annual or biannual. I think you should do it at least every couple of years.
So missing the 21 might have caused this to happen, right?
Well, just drifting over time. I mean,
Yeah.
and you're looking at the. I mean, when we did our vertical, our mechanical alignment. Go back here. When we did our mechanical alignment, our sensor looked pretty good. There's no pits or any kind of gaps or anything. And this has, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different tiles in the sensor. Okay, each one of these represents one of the tiles of the sensor.
I'm gonna label it the bamboo pole, okay?
Yeah, it's a bamboo pole.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, if you have a concern about a horizontal line on this thing or something like that, then you could come back here and you'd see a block of pixels that would be black right here or something that was missing. But this one looks really good. It's holding up very well. There's a little bit of a doodad right there, but nothing to...
So is that indicative of degradation of the digital receptors?
It can be a number of things. I've had people move these and not move them properly, and it looks like the surface of the moon going down through here. They bounce they have it attached to the machine, and the sensors bounce it down the road in the truck.
Oh my God!
And that wipes it out.
Yeah, we know all about that kind of stuff with all kinds of equipment. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the sensor's looking good. I have no concerns about it. So, all right, so this is where we're going to use our aluminum block, calibration. And I'm going to do what I recommended that you do and back up these files.
I think I already put it on the desktop. That was the original ones.
Okay, okay. Have you done it? We don't need to do it. Alright, so we're going to say calibrate. I really do want to calibrate the sensor. Alright, so we
So it
take...
doesn't give you 3 things. It doesn't say you're sure you want to do this.
No, it doesn't. Alright, so where's your block? Alright, so the beam, if you feel on this decal right here, there's an opening, a circle. And we're going to tape the sensor right over that opening.
There's a little one above that too. There's a little hole.
Well, that's probably for a laser alignment tool if this ever became a CEF, and it never became a CEF. So
If it ever became what? I'm sorry.
a CEF, pan CEF.
Oh, I see. Okay. So that'd be something for a different application. Does the tape have to be that color?
Yes. Or pink. Pink works good too. Okay. I wonder what this piece of tape is for.
I think that was left from the last time we did it, and they just never took it off.
I see. It
It's
doesn't want to come
got
off.
a black gooey mess underneath it.
Yeah.
So it was taped to that side?
I don't know why it was taped to that side. I had Robert Shear would come over here and put ink marks up above and below the window on the cover, thinking that was where the sensor was.
Yeah.
I said, Robert, you can test these machines all you want, but don't ever fool them.
Yeah, that's what I.
Don't mark them.
Don't adjust them.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't put pin marks on them.
I hate that too. I try to tell people that, but You know, he called me the other day for advice, and I just have to tell you this. Don't get me wrong. The only thing I don't like about the way Bob does is trying to pass his company off as an official government agency.
Well, yeah, or the scare tactics. he
Yeah,
uses.
scare tactics. I hate that.
All right, so what is our first exposure there?
70 at 6 MA. $70 kV.
All right, so here you may want to see how
Yeah,
we do
so-
this. All right, go back out. So here's what it does when you turn it on. It just splashes the company name. We start with mode. We're going to do the panoramic left side start. So we're going to select that. Arm not positioned, press enter. It's going to position the arm to the left side start position.
So that's two sensor to the left.
Right, it's a sensor
Okay.
position.
Okay.
As the start position. Press mode. There's KVP. It's defaulting to 70, which is what we want. It's a flashing data point. So whenever there's a flashing data point, we have to enter it. We'll hear the triac move.
The variac.
It moves to 70 and stops. Push mode again.
Ready to expose.
It's ready to expose.
Is that a carbon brush type variac, like all of the variacs mainly are?
Yeah, you can see it if you.
Yeah,
go back.
I know what it is. I just wanted to confirm.
It is. It's a.
And just servo
It's a-
driven. Yeah.
Helically wound coil with a carbon brush that moves.
Okay.
It's motor driven. Okay, so we're going to shoot our first exposure in our calibration. And when you're standing here, the beam never points your way.
Yeah.
It points that way. Well, it does point this way, but it's being attenuated by that counterweight in the. Oh, that is the tube. The counterweight over there. Never mind. I'm babbling.
It's okay. I went into detail with this with Ben Archer for the city of Houston. We just installed a new room for them, and we took them to DR. They had CR systems, and how long ago? About a year ago, we put those DRs in for the city.
Mm-hmm.
And Bob and I talked about, Ben and I talked about these pan units and not lead lining any of the rooms, and not having a necessity to do that.
It's.
He's the guy, man. He wrote the book on the shielding.
I know, but it depends on where it's installed.
Yeah.
If it's in a dentist's office, the dentists have the best lobby in Austin. Think about it. Okay, they're using about 7 to 10 MA, 70 kV, and what are they shooting? The most sensitive area of the human body, the head,
Eyes.
the eyes, the thyroid, the nervous system, the brain. They're shooting all that stuff, and their EPs are every 4 years and not sanctioned by a physicist.
Yeah, I know.
A podiatrist uses about the same dose
And they have
on the least sensitive area of the human body, and he has to have a physicist certified EPE done every 2 years. Okay, I'm off my
every
soapbox.
four for podiatrists.
I thought it was 2.
No, it's 4.
At one time it was 3.
It's 5 for a vet, 4 for podiatrists.
I thought vet was whenever we tell you to.
Well, kind of. I tell you, it'd be 10 years. They have all. You know what? It's like calling the IRS and get 10 different answers from 10 different people.
Yeah, if you don't like the answer they give you, you're not recording this, are you? Okay, never mind. The state knows what they're doing, and everything
I know
they
they're
do
very
is,
good.
They're very good at what they do,
We've got the best inspectors in the
That's
area,
right.
Region 6.
and the most fair regulations. All right, so what's our next exposure?
75.
So we go through the increment through the thing again here. We're gonna bump this up to 75. We're gonna hit enter. Our thing's gonna turn. It stops flashing. We hit enter again. We're ready to shoot.
Now, the MA never changes. It's
It's
consistent.
6 all the
6,
time.
yeah.
So we're gonna shoot the 75 with the filter, 26 millimeter aluminum.
So is that all that block is an aluminum filter?
Mm-hmm.
So I could put 26 millimeters of aluminum in front of that with anything I wanted to do. If I had a square aluminum, I could stick
If it's the right alloy and everything, yeah. And honestly, you know, it would probably adapt to, 20 millimeters or whatever, but
That's just an aluminum block, right?
Mm-hmm.
You already knew that?
Well, I didn't know at the time when I first got it, but now I know.
it's an aluminum block and a layer of electrical tape.
That's right.
Mhm.
Don't forget that. Yeah. And I hope you have that tape precisely positioned in the dead
It's
center.
precision tape. All right, so our next one is 75 with no filter. So guess what
Oh,
we're gonna
okay.
do?
Take off the filter.
I'm gonna donate my tape to your cause. When you next time you use this, you can probably get about 4 or 5 uses out of this tape. I'm a cheap guy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thank you.
okay, 75 with no filter. So we're gonna do mode, enter, mode. There's 75 with no filter. And our time is right on 12 seconds. Here's our exposure time.
Oh, there's what you were talking about being able to see it. Yeah.
There's another place to see it in the user mode that I'll show you. So what we're looking for is all of our sliders in the green, and they all are. And we have a successful calibration. Yay! So we're gonna click OK here. We're also going to observe our non-ideal clusters, 0, excellent. Corrected lines, 0, excellent. And only 40 corrected pixels of all of those pixels of that sensor. So the sensor is in A1 condition. It's in great shape. All right, so everything's loaded. Once you do this, it's finished. All you do is close out the calibration. You can take a picture of it and document it if you want to.
Why don't we do that? Let me do that on my phone. Do you want to go ahead and do it?
Well, I'm recording.
Okay, let me do that real quick.
I don't want to see my speech about the podiatrist on YouTube.
Oh, I'm not putting this on YouTube.
Well, but no, it's a valid point.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You haven't,
If I was a podiatrist, I'd be
you're
upset.
not dissing anyone with that statement.
All right, so we're going to close this. And let's shoot some object. See if I can
You
do
know, I'm wondering if we could bring our skull when we do that.
You have a skull phantom?
I have a skull phantom, yeah.
Yeah, you could put a skull phantom on here. Panoramic had one they called George.
I'd have to come up with some kind of a device to mount it up there. What's that pin for back
They
there?
had theirs on a tripod.
Oh, I see, okay. That's a great idea. We could do that, build a tripod for it, and then, something about 3 feet tall. Mm-hmm.
So we're going back to left pan.
Yeah, we're setting up an exposure, and it's since the arm wasn't in position, so we're moving it to the left hand. We do left side start because the control panel's on this side. No other reason than that. The control panel will mount on either side of this machine.
Okay.
So in some situations we mount it on the other side. So press mode. 75 is good for shooting a picture of my meter. Press mode again. We're ready for exposure. So this is DVM and panoramic. And you always always look for a green light. You have to have a green light to shoot to acquire the image. When it starts to scan, it's going to change to yellow.
It's like a corduroy effect.
Mm-hmm.
Is that normal?
Is it still there? Yeah, I don't think it's. I think when you have a patient on there, I don't think it's going to be.
You're not seeing it in the image, is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay. It's only outside the image that you're seeing it.
Yeah, and there's nothing there to see, so. I don't think there's any way to address those. We've done everything we can to.
Is it always been there before? Can you pull up an image where it's not there? Like way back in history?
Oh, I had to get them to pull that up.
No, we can pull it up here. We can go back a ways anyway. Go back to 10/17/22. One of their toothless
What does it
patients.
crop the image automatically in the software?
What do you mean crop?
Well, I mean to where you don't see anything outside the actual image that was taken, or is the image always full field?
It's gonna always be pretty much full field.
Yeah, I don't see it there.
Right. There may be a setting in the software or something. Let me see if we can get them on the phone.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know.
I'll pause it.